Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my The Last of Us Part 2 Grounded Difficulty Walkthrough, and this is episode 5, in which we will be going through the second part of Ellie's second day in Seattle. And at the beginning of this video we are actually playing in a flashback sequence of Ellie, Joel and Tommy going out, cleaning up some infecteds, and we are in this scheme hotel to pick up some guitar strings, or trying to find some guitar strings. And important note here, when you go up to stealth kill this runner, you saw that Joel took out the second one. Before you go in for the kill, or in for the grab to be more correct, make sure that you see Joel moving up to the second one. Because if you're too quick, you will run the risk of Joel not pathing correctly, and then you will most likely get spotted. And in this encounter, it is super important to not get spotted. Because there are only 3 enemies remaining now. There are 2 runners and 1 clicker. But on the second floor, you may see that there is a balcony. There are a few more infected up there. So if you aggro any of these enemies, they will come down to join the fight. And we don't want to do that. But since these infecteds are in a passive state, they are on their pre-programmed little paths. And I'm waiting for a specific moment, because I want the clicker to move over here to the left and then start going back over to the right. You see that guy to the left, he has moved up. He's gonna go back over to the left side once again. And when he starts coming back, that's when we make our move. Because then the clicker will start moving away as well. So go out here, we start crouching, and we want to grab this guy just over here by the chair. And when I grab him, you will see I move back a few steps. That is so the clicker will not hear when I stab him. And also, this runner lady over here, make sure, or when you move back a little bit, you are hidden behind a chair and this desk when she continues her pathing. And as soon as she turns around and starts to walk away, we can head in for the kill. Now all that remains is the clicker, and we are gonna wait for him. We're gonna let him go on his merry way for a few more seconds. He's gonna move over to this other side of the fireplace. So we're gonna pick up this alcohol and just wait for a little while. And as I said, don't get carried away. Do not shoot this clicker, because there will be trouble if you do. And when you have killed him, make sure to loot through this entire area and see if you can make a Molotov, because we are going into a boss fight. We are going into a bloater fight after this, and having a Molotov is a great way to start that fight. But now I'm sitting behind the fireplace, just waiting for him to come back here. And as I mentioned before, clickers are super aware, and they do that clicking where they start echolocating their surroundings. So make sure that your entire body is hidden behind this wall. If a fragment of you is peeking out, maybe just your nose or the filter of your gas mask, you will run the risk of getting detected. And that would be super sad, since everything is going so well. And here he comes, and I think I was just mashing the triangle button at this point. Because when he leaned forward to do the clicking, we could go in for the kill. Super smooth. So make sure to loot through this room before you go on your way. And then we are in this semi-cutscene where Ellie breaks a pipe and grabs the attention of the bloater. Lovely guy. And this fight is, as I said, actually really easy, because the bloater will focus most of his attention, if not all his attention, on Joel. So we are gonna try to stay clear of Joel, first of all, and take pot shots at him. And this fight is scripted to end with the bloater grabbing you and Joel coming to your rescue, so you will not be able to kill the bloater. And there will also be some runners joining the fight. I think it's 2 of them. Here comes the first one. I took a hit just because I was so focused on the bloater, so I actually thought it was Joel heading into the room. So I got super surprised when he swung at me. But as you can see, this area is quite open and the bloater makes it even more open. And as long as you don't stay too close to Mr. Miller, you shouldn't run any risk of getting hit by that big old monster. And also, you cannot kill it. It's supposed to end with him grabbing you. I think it may work like this, that he focuses his attention on Joel until you have damaged him enough, and then he will turn it towards you, but I'm not 100% sure. Just try to empty your weapons into him as best you can. And then I got grabbed, and you will go into this cutscene. You may not be sure that you will survive, but you will. So there, that was your first boss fight, the bloater in the skiing hotel, or ski lodge, or whatever you call it. And there are a few boss fights in this game, and most of them are actually surprisingly easy for the high difficulty setting. And now we're running down an empty street, it would seem. Down in the bottom right corner you can go into an office building. There will be some good loot. And the reason I'm showing you this is because in that diner over on the left side, there are actually, I think it's 5 infected. But they will not notice you as long as you stay over here on the right side of the street. And do try to go into the little office down in the bottom right corner, because there is some good loot you can pick up in there. And now we're heading into an ambush. You saw that door to the right. You cannot open that door, and that is because there are some defectors from the wolves sitting in there. So I'm gonna put down a trap mine, and they will come out as soon as you go up to this workbench and try to work at it. You will hear the bomb go off. There we go. Then just swing around, move in behind this kitchen counter, and take their asses out. Choose whichever weapon you wish, whichever one you prefer. They are just supposed to die as quickly as possible. If you don't set down the trap mine, you will go into like a sequence where he fights you against the desk, and I think you have to mash square. But I preferred using the trap mine because then he won't even stand a chance, and you will only have 3 enemies to face off against instead of 4. So that was super easy. Very quick. Now we are in an office building where we'll have our first encounter with the stalkers. And this is actually really easy. All you have to do is run down this middle corridor. Try not to run too fast, because then you will end up with one of them behind you. Then it's harder to dodge their swings. And as soon as you get out the window, you're safe. And now we're up on the 2nd floor. And when you get in here, we immediately make a right and go into this room. There is also a clicker in here, but we are gonna divert his attention. So with our trusty bottle, we're gonna throw it through that window, and that will give us a clear path over to the exit, because he immediately turns around and starts to examine what that is. And in this right room there are some stalkers as well. But if you throw the bottle just about where I threw mine, they will head in there as well, because they are stupid like that. The smallest sound and they come running. And one thing I want to say about that bottom floor, where I just ran down the middle path. I have read that after that encounter, when you get out to that little fire escape, if you reset the checkpoint out there, I've heard that you can go back in, all the stalkers will be gone, and you are free to loot through that area. I didn't try it because I didn't know it when I recorded this, but feel free to check that out. There might be some good stuff in there. Always worth a shot. And now we are in the park and we have our first encounter with the Seraphites. When you get into this park, getting shot by that arrow is a forced hit. Focus when you first get in here. Go up here to the middle part where you get hit with the arrow there. Because then they are gonna go over there to examine if you are dead or if you're still alive. So that will make this left side completely devoid of enemies except for one. You see that woman over there to the right with the axe. We are gonna play the stalking game. Some friendly neighborhood stalking through the tall grass in the forest, because why not? She is the only one you're gonna have to worry about here, actually. But as long as you stay close to her and follow the path I am taking, you shouldn't have any problems at all. And I had a really interesting experience here the first time I played through this game, because I was absolutely clueless. I tried a bunch of different paths through this, and I got up to this point right about here, and I think I followed that woman and decided to stealth kill her. And when I stealth killed her, I swung around with the camera and realized like 5 feet behind me there was another Seraphite. And luckily for me, he had his back turned. I don't know how he didn't spot me, even though I was playing on normal difficulty, but he must have turned around the very split second before I went in for the stealth kill, so I got really lucky. But either way, that woman has started moving away, so we can jump over this fence. Feel free to pick up this axe if you don't have a melee weapon or if you have used yours. Axes are great. Gotta love them axes. And then we can just head for this door. As I think I mentioned that before, that a lot of the encounters in this game end with you closing doors behind you.
Made it.
And we're going into the second Seraphite. Yeah, you could just call it a Seraphite. But we are gonna try to not fight anyone. These three guys are busy gutting a poor prisoner over here. And we are gonna wait behind this tree for a few seconds, because the two guys you're seeing there are gonna start moving up here. No. Either way, two guys are moving over there. So we're gonna follow the third guy. And this is one of those ballsy moments. You might be afraid that this won't work on grounded, but it actually does. We are gonna stalk this guy really close. Because we move over here and start crawling, because if you crouch too close to a human enemy, you will run the risk of them hearing you. So make sure to crawl beneath this log so you don't crouch and mantle over it. And as soon as you get past it, go up on this little fuse box or whatever it's called and into the garage. And here you can stand up, I think, yes. And we are gonna move up here. Make sure you start crawling just around here, I think. Yes. And now we are gonna divert our attention up to the top floor of this parking garage, because you will see a guy peeking out right about now. And we wait for him to turn around and start moving away, and then we can focus on that woman. She starts walking away. Sometimes she will move up a little closer, but as long as you don't take too long, you will be able to move up here as soon as she starts walking away. If it does take her a little while, keep an eye up on the top floor so that guy with an axe hasn't moved back. But as soon as we get over to this little clearing, there will be some more enemies moving in there, so you want to be quick. Jump over here and move through this building, and we are very soon getting up to a checkpoint and a mini boss. And there are some mini bosses in this game called, I call them brutes, after Uncharted 3. You know, there were a lot of brutes in that game. They all were these huge bulky steroid monsters. And we are not gonna fight him. Actually, I mentioned in a previous video that tall grass is like kryptonite to enemies in this game, and I said that I would prove it to you, I think. And this is the sequence where I will prove the power of the tall grass. And here I'm probably being overly cautious, because I wasn't sure which window I should break. And in the end, I decided to go for the one that's furthest away from those enemies on the other side of the chasm. So I would run a minimal risk of them hearing the window breaking. But as soon as you get into this store and try to open the back door to go out, the brute will enter and you will reach a checkpoint. That is really good to know. That is where this game is super lenient at times. But now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. This is quite important, because he will come out, he will throw you over the desk. I didn't manage to do this my first try. But as soon as he comes around and you get control of Ellie, you wanna run up to him and force him to swing. Dodge the swing, run in behind that shelf and dive down into this tall grass. 9 times out of 10, he will instantly lose track of you, because we broke his line of sight. And that is super weird with grounded mode. Like back in Eastbrook Elementary, on one of all, or on a few of all the attempts I did on that fight, I ran from that first corridor, or the second corridor, whatever you want to call it, out into that little green area where I just mantled up onto the roof and threw myself down into the tall grass. I had an enemy like 6 feet behind me. I was straight in his line of sight, and he lost track of me more than once. Amazing. But this is a little bit luck. There's a little bit of luck involved in here. Because as I said, when you open that door, you reach a checkpoint, and that is great. And the brute comes out and he's flanked by 2 guys. You saw me killing one of them right there. There's one guy with an axe and one guy with a shotgun. That was shotgunner I killed. Sometimes they will not move out of that room. And if that doesn't happen, the shotgunner, he likes to hang back in here, and he can give you a fistful of buckshot if you come in here and you're not prepared for it. But if he doesn't move out, go in, equip your shotgun or whatever you feel the most comfortable with, blast his ass quickly and head for the exit. And you will get out of there scot clean, hopefully. And now we have reached the hospital infiltration, and this was fun. There are a surprising amount of things that can go wrong. In this area, you have these 2 soldiers down here on the ground, and we're gonna sneak past the first one and after that woman. This guy can do a pirouette and look over his shoulder and spot you. She can do a pirouette, look over her shoulder and spot you. So as soon as you get in here, crawl on your stomach and you'll see her starting to turn around. If you get it this far, you're past the hardest part. I got spotted quite a few times just going up to this sniper tower. But when you get up here, the sniper should path around, and we sneak up behind him, and when you grab him, make sure to move in behind the wall before you stab him. or else you'll run the risk of getting spotted by enemies patrolling down on the ground. And when you jump over here, you want to do it as far over to the left edge as possible. And we are gonna sniper kill a guy with our trusty bow, and this is so embarrassing because I actually miss 2 arrows. He will come in from the left, and hopefully you aim a lot better than I did. I panicked a bit. Either way, you want to take him out in the tall grass. Make sure to hit him in the head. Then immediately move down here, because there is an enemy patrolling around this area. And if you're quick enough to move down, he will come running to see, because he has caught a glimpse of you. And he doesn't know what it is, so he will move over here and put himself in a great position to get stealth killed. And that is very kind of him. Now we have just 1 enemy left we need to get past to get out of here. And I think I found every way that you're not supposed to do this. And the most annoying part was, you saw me missing 2 arrows on that guy. On almost every other attempt I did on this encounter, I took him first arrow. If I got that far, if I didn't get spotted by any of the first 2 guards patrolling. But getting through the first sequence, those 2 guards that were patrolling, I think the key there is to not be too quick. Don't move as soon as the first guy disappears behind the ambulance. Let him get a few feet before you move. But now all that remains, as I said, there is a guy walking up and down this corridor, and we are going to shoot them in the head with an arrow. That's why you want to preserve your arrows. I didn't do that because I'm an idiot, and hopefully your aim is better than mine. So you will not be as wasteful as I am. Because there are 2 enemies over to the right. One into to the room just to the right of him, and another one further down. So I line up my shot, shoot him straight in the face because he decided to pirouette, and then immediately run for the exit. Don't try to pick up that arrow. Speed is key here. And run up here. Thankfully this door is not like the red one at the beginning of the previous episode. It's really quick getting through. And the reason that we are in the hospital is to find this woman, because we are chasing Abby. And this woman, I can't remember her name. Not at all, actually. I want to call her like Nadine or something, but I don't think that's her name. Either way, we have you have to chase her here. And this is like when you bolted from channel 13. This is a scripted chase. If you fall too far behind, you will have to restart the chase, because then she will get away from you. But you shouldn't have any problems at all keeping up with her. It's a really simple, straight path, and as long as you manage to stay close, you shouldn't fail. And if you fail, all you have to do is start the chase from the beginning. And after that little fight, of course, the chase continues on for a little bit. There has to be a fight mid-chase. Otherwise, what's the point? And when you get in here, the chase is over. And now we are down in the cellar. You will fall down, or you will jump down here with her. And I tried a bunch of different ways to get through this, because this room is packed with clickers. And I tried sneaking, I tried being super stealthy, but I realized the easiest thing was to just throw a bottle, catch the attention of the clickers, and the wolves and the clickers will tear each other to pieces, and you can bolt for the exit, and we are done with day 2. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, This is the Wolfman signing off.